Good morning, friends. This is Ansi from Lifestyle Today News Delhi. Today is February 9, 2024, and I'll be today discussing a very interesting and outlandish topic, which is about writing recipes on tombstones. So we'll discuss that. Before that, the temperature today in Delhi is 7 degrees centigrade, and the sun rose at 7:05 a.m. and the sun will set at 7 p.m. It's hazy sunshine, and the today's daylight, the day temperature will go up to 22 degrees centigrade. The air quality index is 154, which is unhealthy. So take care, have healthy food, be active, and enjoy your life. And so let's discuss the topic. Today I'll discuss about writing recipes on the gravestone, which is uh, quite outlandish, which is happening abroad in US and some other places where recipes are nowadays being written on the tombstones. When a elderly woman dies, her for instance, when an elderly woman died, her children, they wrote her, they inscribed her favorite recipe of or a famous recipe on the tombstone. The story is, so why does that happen? Because to preserve the recipes for the future generation and as an honor, all those things. So the story of this lady is that the she used to make very good non-bake oatmeal cookies, and that cookies were cost friendly in the days when the food prices were high. She could make that in good budget with the things that were at home, and oat and all those things that were kept in the house for a long time. So those things you could use. All the only ingredient extra that was required was milk and handmade, and that was quite popular. And that lady used to uh, give away the cookies in schools and in during parties at home. Everywhere her cookie was famous. So that's why her children thought, and that recipe has been passed on to her children and her grandchildren. So that's why the children thought that her recipe should be inscribed on the tombstone, so that maybe, there are so many reasons that people say about why they are writing down recipes. And so recipes are like, it's like a history. You like reading a novel or something. Even I got a recipe book where my mother, she wherever she goes, when she visits some house, she sees somebody making a new dish. She will ask the recipe, and then she will come and note it down. So I have a recipe book of that. And when I read those recipes, I just remember the old days, and what all ingredients were available easily, which all ingredients were not available. There was a time when there was a recipe of gulab jamun, but in those days we couldn't get the, because and then recipe was using milk powder. We didn't have the proper milk powder for that, so we didn't make that for a long time. Or there was a recipe where refrigerator was needed, so that time, for some time, there was not a refrigerator in the house. So like that, we'll remember so many things. How difficult it was in olden days. We used to go to our nearby kirana store, and we used to stand outside the door, the shop, and ask him for different things, and he will, like a king. He will be in those days, shopkeeper was the king. He will give all those things that we are asking, ye hai nahi hai. So all those things he used to say, and he used to give those things to us. And most of the ingredients that we ask, it won't be there. So the recipe on YouTube channel, and getting all the ingredients available, those things have happened in the last 1 or 2 decades. So all those memories come when you see these recipes. And also maybe this helps in survival also, how to survive on a budget. This recipe I said about the oatmeal, that the son says that in those days in the US they had food was very expensive, and they the load of food in their area used to come by a ship or something, and they had to buy the ration and keep it at home. And during the winters there won't be any rationing for 2 3 months, so they had to store the items ingredients at home. So this lady, and they had to stretch all the food items for 3 4 months together, whatever items they have got. So until the next load of food items come. So from at that time she could make the cookies and all that from the ingredients that were in the house. So that is why how to survive and in a hard situation, how to survive on a shoestring budget and to make tasty and healthy food, those things came out from those recipes. So that's why maybe that recipe became so famous in the area, and it has now been passed on to the next generation through an epitaph. And there is a TikToker who is nowadays, there are quite a few number of graves nowadays where these recipes have been engraved. And there is one YouTuber, one TikToker who goes around, and she used to look at those recipes, and she used to make the recipes and share them on TikTok. And nowadays sometimes she goes and keeps the makes the recipe and shares it at the keep a piece of it on the near the tomb also. So that way, what was the emotion behind the recipe, and so many things come out of these the recipes that are engraved on the tombstone. So do we have just wanted to know, this looks like an interesting way of sharing an age old recipe to the next generation. And it's not something new, such things have happened in the ancient past also, in Egypt also, in some other places also. This when some big baker or somebody has died, their recipes have been put on the grave, and all those things have happened. So such things have happened in olden days, but now it's become a trend for the ordinary people also. When they are dying, their recipes are passed down to the next generation. And one lady had said that, that's not on the grave. She had a recipe at home of her great her husband's grandmother had handed over a recipe. And the recipe was, when her husband's grandfather was a miner, and in those days when the men went for mining, the women will cook, and they will go near the mine, and they all will sit together and have food. So those times she had some famous recipes. Those recipes she handed down to the granddaughter-in-law. So how much the and she was now using it. So this kind of thing. So that time I just remembered the old film Mother India, where the wife goes to the uh, field where her husband is involved in farming in the afternoon, and she goes with the roti and sabji for him. So this kind of things happen in India also. So and in our tradition, mostly we don't pass it down by writing. And I have got some idea about the cooking, about the tradition of the cooking, about the do's and don'ts, so many things, the recipes and all that, by word of mouth, or from the young, very small age. The women, the girls are involved in the kitchen, so the recipe, the do's and don'ts. And every house, every person has a unique way of cooking that we know. but I don't know how, if anybody has thought about passing it down in written form to the next generation. So in my knowledge, it is not there. In my knowledge, there are books about the family history that has been written about the family lineage. Those books have come out. Are there any books, or are there any way that recipes has been preserved for the next generation, other than the word of mouth? The word of mouth nowadays, grandparents and the grandchildren are not together, even the parents and the children are not together, and when children have girls or boys, whoever they are at home, they are busy studying. There is no time even to share recipes. Even parents, they are cooking, fast cooking and all that. So the time to pass down the tradition of cooking, that is not possible nowadays. Uh, so, is there any way that we are doing something in India, that our the traditional recipes has been passed on? Because India has, we have a beautiful, we have got lots of cuisines in vegetarian, non-vegetarian, and a number of recipes that are there on the internet and all that. But family recipes, our grandmothers recipes, grandmothers cooking, grandmothers tips, there are some brands like grandmother's achar and all those things, and grandmother is cooking and customizing, and there are some startups where grandmothers are cooking and giving. But the secret is not out, how the thing has been done. So has, is there a, how do you uh, pass down the tradition of the cooking? Has the recipes of your grandparents been passed down to the generation other than through word of mouth? And do you plan to do something like that, because so that the culinary expertise of your family, the culinary expertise also holds the tradition, the history of the family also will be there in those recipes? We can find so much of there, so much of love and bonding, and so many things comes with those recipes. So has something like that happened? Have you ever done something like that? Please do share in the comment box about sharing recipes and passing it down to the next generation. So thank you all. Have a nice weekend. I'll be there next Monday morning with a new interesting topic. Thank you.